Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guys, Mo Nawara in the Midwest, and we've got Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are rolling through a Wednesday night slate here in the MLB. Continue to follow along with us. Make sure you are liked and subscribe. We're bringing you each and every one of these nightcap games that we have some picks for throughout the MLB regular season. Also have all of our great content up on thelines.com. The guys continue to bring you their daily content each and every day, looking at some of those best bets and plenty of other angles. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we have for Wednesday night. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, pretty even split here with plenty of day games to sift through, but then we get to the night action, and it starts with an intriguing pitching matchup with the Giants at the Phillies, Rodon and Aaron Nola. Pretty much a toss-up there. Giants getting some plus money. Angels are plus 144 at the Yankees. Mariners minus 156 at Baltimore. White Sox slight dogs at Toronto. The Twins slight favorites at Detroit. Reds plus 170 at Red Sox. The Rays are minus 125 at Rangers. And then Pirates plus 200 at the Dodgers. Like I said, it starts with that intriguing pitching matchup. 6 p.m. Eastern start out in Philly, but we are going to tackle that one there. While Rodon has struggled in his last 3 starts, starting with a shaky 8 earned run outing against St. Louis, a Cardinals lineup that just crushes lefties. He's struggled to find the zone since then with 7 walks, 8 Ks. But still, look at his peripherals. Very impressive. 24% hard contact, 5% barrel rate. Velocity is up, yet his BABIP is a little unlucky at 328. And the Phillies are not, on paper, a great lineup against lefties. And in fact, they have the 5th highest K rate against lefties, pretty low walk rate. So Rodon should be able to get his swagger back a little bit here, attacking them in the zone. And Aaron Nola posting the best Sierra of his career. Really, his biggest issue has been home runs, but the Giants lineup pretty depleted by injuries and just been pretty bad all year in terms of at least slugging and getting those long balls. Again, I think Nola can be aggressive on the other side there. So I think under at 8 runs, worth a look here. It's worth noting he struggled in 4 straight starts, has Nola, at San Francisco, but the one that was in Philly, 12 Ks and 1 earned over 7 innings. So he will be at home there and knows how to pitch there at Citizens Bank.
Yeah, it's been a tough little mini stretch for Rodon, but it's not anything I'm honestly worried about. I'm definitely more than willing to give him a pass when I look at these games. I think it's just honestly a great time to buy low here on an awesome pitcher. At the end of the day, first of all, let's just say, his FIP still starts with a 2. I mean, it's not like he's just out here getting his ass kicked now. But yeah, St. Louis shelled him. That's the number 1 offense against lefties. And then most of the damage, basically, it was a 3-start run, but most of the damage was in 2 of the starts, and St. Louis, one of them, and then the other one at Cincinnati, which when the weather gets hot and you're an extreme fly baller, which Rodon is, it's not the best place for him. And then sure enough, he ran a 20% home run per fly ball in that game. So I'm not that worried about it. His Sierra is still elite, still above average barrel rate, still getting 13.4% swinging strikes. And he did lose a tick of velocity in that last start. So that concerns me slightly. But I mean, when he's at 95 to 96, I mean, this is still a really good velocity for him where he crushed it last year. And then, yeah, Aaron Nola has been amazing so far. 2.54 Sierra. That's like way the best of his career. So we'll see if he can keep that up. He is pitching definitely great. And I know this is in Philly, and I know this is 2 very, very capable offenses, but I still think if you can get 8.5, it's too high. And then even 8, honestly, I mean, I kind of feel like this should be like 7.5. So I'm pretty happy to get the under here with 2 really, really strong pitchers.
No, that's fair. I mean, but even over the course of the last week or so, the Giants lineup too has just been getting absolutely destroyed by injuries. A lot of guys still on that 10-day, and a couple guys even day to day that we haven't seen back for the last week or so that are pretty important to them, especially some of those outfielders and obviously Brandon Bell at first. So I think the under feels okay there, to be honest with you. But moving on to the next game we're talking about here, fellas, starting with Texas, Tampa Bay is headed there. John Gray on the hill for the Rangers, Jeffrey Springs for the Rays. So I'll start with you, Mo. What are you looking at this game where we see Tampa Bay minus 124 there on the money line?
Yeah, let me first say that I think I've lost every time I faded the Rangers this year. So including, I think I've been on the Rays the last 2 games. So it's going very well for me so far, but I guess I'm going to try it again. We've talked about Jeffrey Springs, how awesome he's been in his conversion from relief to the starting rotation. And yeah, he's got a 2.96 FIP, a 3.08 Sierra. It's numbers that you have to regress upward because he's been pitching in relief. So he'll be worse than that as a starter, but I'm still looking at, probably a 3.5 ERA, something like that going forward. I mean, that's still quite a bit better than John Gray. Gray, I have him as like exactly average, basically, maybe a little bit below. He's still walking 3.44 batters per 9. Still throwing his god awful fastball way, way too often. He's one of those guys that I think would really benefit from a really big change in pitch mix where he kind of drops his heater down to like 35-40%. It's not a good pitch. And then, yeah, in theory, Tampa Bay has a better offense and a better bullpen, but then again, the Rangers just kill it every time I fade them. So I guess maybe I'll just take some more medicine tomorrow when the Rays lose 5-1 or whatever the final score is going to be here.
We'll stick with it, Mo, because the Rays are 12-7 after a loss this year. Last year, also a very good record after a loss. So, I mean, I don't think they'll lose. They'll get swept out here in Texas, that's for sure. And Springs is one of their better openers for sure, with that 4.7K to walk ratio, getting such a heavy chase rate, 42.5% outside the zone swing rate. I don't see it that high too often. The Rangers are hitting just 240 against lefties with Corey Seager, their best bat there, and they have the 6th lowest hard contact against lefties. With Gray, I mean, he's a little overly aggressive, like you're saying. Yeah, throwing that fastball, trying to start guys out with a 68% first strike rate. And the Rays, this iteration of the Rays lineup is not that patient. I mean, the low walk rate, free swinging a little bit. So I think that might actually play into their hands. And Gray's allowing so much hard contact that I think the Rays will get enough run support to build that lead with while Springs is out there, because I don't think he's given up more than 2 earned.
Yeah, he looked really good. I think you're spot on there, and I think you should have that confidence that Nate's urging for you, Mo. Because yeah, I mean, even the Rays offense as well. I mean, they produced a little bit below average when facing right-handers as well. But yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that pick with you guys. So we'll look to continue to get you that confidence, Mo, as we move on to Detroit. Minnesota is headed there. Detroit is plus 104 there on the money line. You have Bailey Ober and Tarek Skubal. Kick us off there, Nate, in Detroit. What are you looking at?
Well, I'm looking at 2 talented young pitchers, both with a very low home run fly ball ratio this year. Both have struggled with homers in the past. But the dead in baseball here in 2022 is a different story for both these guys. I mean, you look at Skubal, had given up 9 homers in his previous 4 starts against the Twins. This year, he did not give up a home run in his start, but did give up 5 earned in a loss with Bailey Ober on the mound. So, I mean, you can try to just expect the same result, or you can try to zig a little bit and take the Tigers. For me, I'd rather just go with some unders here in the first half of this game, at least 3.5 runs under is even, just because the Tigers offense is dead last in runs and slugging. Ober does have really good numbers against righties. It's lefties that are getting him with a 304 average, 31% line drive rate. I just don't know who I'm supposed to be afraid of on the left side of the plate for Detroit. And yeah, I mean, Skubal, since getting hit hard by the Twins, has really performed well in his last 5. He has a 1.45 ERA and 35 Ks, going 2-0 in those starts. So I think both starting pitchers will show out here to start.
Well, Robbie Grossman was supposed to be a good left-handed hitter. I think he forgot how to play baseball, though. So, yeah, I don't know who the Tigers really have in this lineup that can do anything. It's been such an awful year for them. I think I'm kind of with you, honestly. I was looking at the Tigers, and I'm still looking at the Tigers, but I'm actually wondering if I should be looking harder at the under, because while the Twins have been awesome against lefties so far this year, they're 4th with 118 WRC plus. Carlos Correa is a big part of that. He is awesome in his career against lefties, and he's got COVID and he's out for his team and my fantasy teams. So thank you for getting sick, Carlos. But yeah, Skubal, man, he's actually been mowing right-handed batters this year, which is huge. Obviously, against the Twins, they have so many righties. He's been awful against righties in his career, and he's really looks like he may have corrected that this year. 276 WOBA allowed this year, and that's with above league average BABIP. And I'm looking at this Twins lineup right now. I'm not that impressed with who they're rolling out there. The bottom of the lineup looks pretty awful to me. Jay Palacios, I don't even know who that is. Nick Gordon, he does not belong in an MLB lineup. So I think it's just probably a little bit of an overrated Twins lineup right now. And yeah, I kind of like Bailey Obear. I mean, but his Sierra is a full run higher than his ERA with a below average called strike plus whiff rate. So that makes me a little bit nervous. The computers believe in Skubal much more than Obear. They have him the projections have him like a half run better. And I think he is better. And yeah, I think the Tigers at anything plus seems okay. And I'm looking at some under 7.5s too, and that seems fine too. That's a park where we do want to be firing unders generally, I think, with some decent pitchers on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is I almost have a bit of a theory that, if you are taking the under here, you might actually prefer the Twins to pull it out. Their bullpen has been pretty bad, but when it is in the lead, I believe it's 11 of 14 save opportunities at this point that they've converted. Still somewhat of a small sample size, but still a really good percentage in a way that if you do get those innings eaten by Obear with little limited damage, that would seem to bode well. But either way, both of these teams scoring at such a pathetic clip right now, specifically the Tigers, and then the expectations not being met by those Twins. So I would agree with you guys on the 7.5 there as a preferred bet, even to the plus money you're getting on those Tigers. But that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday as we get as many of these nightcap games in there. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Continue to check out all that great written content from the guys. Until we see you next, happy betting.